Hi guys, I am Ivana. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. I thought I would just go over the topic of the different subsets of the ketogenic diet and how it naturally happened for me as I went through my journey, going through these different sets or subsets or phases of the ketogenic diet. What are the different subsets of the ketogenic diet? I'm referring to some notes here, so pardon me if I'm looking down. I can't possibly remember all of this. So what are the different phases of the ketogenic diet, and how have I naturally phased into each one with very little effort? Okay, at times it was a little hard, but I've learned that pushing past the difficult times and sitting with your cravings or sitting with the difficult urges, if you can just sit through it for a few minutes, it too shall pass. Another technique I've been using that I've learned in this ketovore challenge that I'm in this month is the countdown method from 5 to 1. So if you have an urge to go pick up that sweet treat or that food that you know you shouldn't be eating, if you just count backwards from 5 to 1, it usually helps reduce that craving and it shall pass. It's worked pretty well. Sometimes I forget to use it, but it's worked pretty well. Keto, or the ketogenic diet, is an umbrella term for all of these sort of phases where you hear ketovore, carnivore, dirty keto, clean keto. So let's just start with keto because that's where I started. Keto is typically 20 grams of carbs or less per day. Low carb is typically 50 grams of carbs or less per day, but keto brings it down a little more than that. You might hear dirty keto versus clean keto, or internet keto versus prescription strength keto. And I started out doing dirty keto, and it's a way to get started because you can still find recipes that have been turned, regular recipes, turn keto, so that you can still enjoy the foods that you liked to eat when you ate a standard American diet or some other version of a diet that you were transitioning from. And it really helped curb those cravings at first. I was making all kinds of, keto brownies, keto cakes, especially in the very beginning. I was looking up recipes on Pinterest and I was making all of those things. There were so many things that I was making, but I found that when I made it, I was kind of almost binging on these treats, which is my old behavior. So I knew that I had to stop. But what I found pretty quickly, I naturally began to phase out of this. It was pretty quick. I eventually just stopped making them. I don't know what caused me to stop, but I just stopped, and it was pretty effortless. Dirty keto, typically you count net carbs. So you can subtract the sugar, alcohols, and the fiber from the total carbs on the nutrition label. And the problem with that is not everybody responds to fiber in the same way. You may be absorbing more carbs than you think if you are counting down to net carbs. That's pretty much dirty keto. Clean keto, or prescription strength keto, is really counting 20 grams of total carbs or less per day. So you cut out all of the junk, the sweet treats, the almond flour goodies, the coconut flour goodies, and you just focus on looking at total carbs. So it's kind of simpler in a way because you're not doing all that math and you're just finding foods that you can eat and that are healthy. And eventually you're going to start reducing those sugar cravings because you're not eating many of those treats that spike your craving. So if you wanted to then get more serious and go down to lower carbs and eating more meat-based and cutting out the vegetables and things that might be causing problems in your body, you could then go down to ketovore, which is the challenge that I'm doing now. It is 10 grams of carbs or less per day, total grams, not net. And you stick to animal foods and have non-starchy vegetables or low carb vegetables 2 times per week or 2 days per week. And you reduce as much of the low carb or zero sugar sweeteners because those can lead to sweet cravings and can derail your progress. I've been doing pretty well on this challenge. I've pretty much cut out most of the vegetables. I don't even do veggies on those 2 days for the most part because I did eat some veggies and realized that it was causing me some stomach upset and maybe some bloat. And I just didn't want to deal with that. I just wanted to try to do this as best as I could. And it has been very easy for me. I have also cut out all alcohol since New Year's Eve, which is something that I've been wanting to do on this journey as well, but I just haven't gotten there. That is very hard for me because we have a social setting here where we get together with friends and we have drinks. And I did attend an event last weekend where most everybody was enjoying some cocktails and I didn't. And I had a pretty easy time. I was really surprised. That's another victory during this challenge that I am so happy about. So if you want to go one step further down from ketovore, or up from ketovore, I should say, is carnivore. And typically on carnivore, you are sticking to as close to zero carbs as possible because if you're eating animal foods, they tend to not have any carbs. You do have to watch some of the foods, like if you're eating lunch meats and things like that will contain some carbs. So you really have to measure, but typically if you're eating meat, you don't have to worry because you are eating zero carb. So it's lots of animal-based foods with lots of healthy saturated fats, some dairy, but some people find they overeat on dairy or it causes them problems, so they might cut that out as well. But butter doesn't seem to cause problems for people, so a lot of people do keep butter in, and ghee. The reason why a lot of people try carnivore is because it's an ultimate nutrient-dense elimination diet. It's an easy way to see if chronic conditions can be reversed, and they often are. They're often put into remission. I've seen many anecdotal stories that people have reduced pain or completely eliminated it, or reversed their type 2 diabetes, or reversed autoimmune diseases, or severely lessened the symptoms of them. You can also find the foods that you're sensitive to pretty easily once you eliminate them all out of your diet and then begin adding them back in one at a time slowly to see if it affects you. And then many people just stay on it because they find that they feel so good. Some carnivores drink coffee, which we know that's a plant or a bean, but it's okay because you're still eating mostly meat. And if it's not affecting you, then it should be no problem. If you're still having issues, you can try cutting out coffee to see how it affects you, but I am not ready to start doing that just yet. A lot of people go on the lion diet, which is just beef, salt, and water, or meat, salt, and water. I'm not sure if you have to stick to beef or not, but they have found that this is a way to reduce a lot of chronic issues. So that is basically carnivore. I'm pretty much doing carnivore. I still am having a little natural stevia in my Element electrolytes drink. I do enjoy that. I don't think it's causing me to have many sugar cravings because I've severely reduced my hunger by this way of eating. In fact, I'm on a 24-hour fast right now. My last meal was lunchtime yesterday, and all I had were some Element electrolytes and a few pats of butter later in the evening, and I'm fine right now. I'm not even really hungry. So I think it's working. I'm slowly easing into this ketovore, and it's really serving me. Finally, let's talk about diet versus exercise. One thing I've heard often is 90% of weight loss is diet, and you can't out-exercise a bad diet. On this way of eating, it's recommended to keep your carbs at 20 grams total, not net, per day. You don't have to exercise when you start. If it helps you to feel good mentally and it clears your head and it makes you feel happy, then by all means do it. As you progress, you might find that your energy has increased, you're feeling more motivated and happy, which might make you want to get out there and move. Isn't this cool? It just all happens naturally. So the moral of the story is, don't think you can't do this, because it's basically what I said. I just started with small baby steps, and everything just happened naturally. Just start with small changes or small eliminations and see what happens over time. Maybe cut out that one candy bar that you treat yourself to, or cut out bread. And then the next week or 2 weeks later, cut out pasta. And then maybe, start switching from regular soda to diet soda. And then switch from diet soda to just carbonated water, or the seltzers that are out on the market now that have 0 sugar. You'll find that it's a lot easier to implement these small changes over time. Although some people just jump in with both feet and go from there, which is totally fine. Do whatever works. I tend to think I jump in with both feet, but I've noticed throughout this journey that I really didn't, because I wasn't doing this well. But over time, I switched to viewing it as health instead of just a diet, which made me want to implement the cleanest, most healthy version of this way of eating. Also, keep in mind, if this is new for you and you've been eating a standard American diet for a lot of years, meaning you're burning carbs for energy versus fat, it will most likely take you some time for your body to adjust to this way of eating and becoming a fat burner. Most people transition to being a fat burner in about 2 to 4 weeks. You might get what's commonly called the keto flu, where you'll feel a little sluggish and tired and maybe a little sick. This is mainly an electrolyte balance, because you urinate more frequently when you're transitioning to this fuel source. So increase your electrolytes with a clean brand, or add a little clean salt to your water. And then just be patient and give yourself a little time to reaping the great health benefits of this way of eating. I can't tell you how much this has improved my life, and I'm hoping that it will improve my life going into my golden years, because I just want to be healthy, I want to be strong, and I want to be able to enjoy life to the fullest for the next half a century. So I hope this has been of some help to you guys. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you are doing this way of eating, or if you have for a while, and let me know how it's affected you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye, guys.
To keep it rolling, there's no time to be wasting. I'd just rather move it along.